Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Duel of the Takes. Today, we're doing an Easter special. I hope we get this out in time for Easter.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter, Xbox.
Happy Easter.
Got 52 episodes of VeggieTales, including the 2 theatrically released movies that we're going to put into a tier list. And we are joined by Andrew Chope on YouTube, that's Zisserol. And also, we've got Mikhail from the M2J2 project.
Howdy.
Hello, everyone.
Glad to be here.
So we've got our tiers here. At the top tier is Heavenly. Then we've got Martin Scorsese Please Remake as our second highest tier. Then we have the Broccoli tier. Then we've got the Belly of the Whale tier, Lay Off the Rumor Weed, and Baseless Christian Propaganda as our bottom tiers.
And PSA, this is all good and fun. We are not trying to offend any Christians or Catholics or anything.
I mean, I'm not going to say that, but you're right.
I'm with Josh.
I could feel multiple members of the M2J2 project getting very nervous that this is the subject of the episode that I guest starred on right now.
I mean, we're not going to offend anyone as much as we offended Josh Gad last week. What is a Snoodle's Tale about, Alden?
It's a 20-second episode of VeggieTales. I don't think I've seen this one.
It's 50 minutes long.
Sorry, it's the 20-second, not 20-second.
Oh,
I've seen this episode, but I looked up the summary. All it says is that Snoodle Doo learns that, regardless of how others see him, he is special.
The Snoodle looks like a cheap-ass Chow from Sonic Adventure 2.
All right, well, based off of this summary, this sounds like our first Lay Off the Rumor Weed tier.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know what this Snoodle thing is and why it needs to have self-worth, but it probably shouldn't. Andrew, you're going to be telling us about Abe and the Amazing Promise.
I actually didn't hate this one, surprisingly. Junior learns about patience and learns the story of Abraham. It's okay, it's decent.
Is this the story of Abraham where he almost kills his son for God?
No, I think they neglected that part.
What did they replace it with?
They go mini golfing.
God tells him to beat him at mini golf instead.
I put this one on in the Belly of the Whale category.
Up next, I've got an Easter Carol, the adaptation of the Charles Dickens novel A Christmas Carol. He believes the town would be better off without the church. Instead of worshiping someone who pretended to die on Easter, they could just celebrate his chocolate bunnies.
Holy fuck.
Then an angel shows Nesser his Easter's past, present, and future. She then sings a song about the first Easter and teaches him about his ignorant misinterpretation of the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus Christ. By circumstance, it starts raining eggs, and he's like,
I guess they're all free this year.
his redemption arc isn't as complete as Ebenezer Scrooge's, which is interesting.
I'm feeling broccoli on this one.
Yeah, I'm also feeling broccoli.
Personally, I put this in Scorsese Please Remake. The soundtrack reminds me of the Minecraft soundtrack for some reason.
Oh my god, Robert De Niro plays like the Scrooge character.
Oh my god, Robert De Niro does kind of low-key look like Mr. Nezzer.
Scorsese, Please Remake. I've been persuaded.
Are You My Neighbor? The next story is about Junior Asparagus not wanting to invite the new Hispanic kid, Fernando, to his birthday party. Junior Asparagus decides to invite Fernando to his party after all.
They didn't even try to hide the fact that it was supposed to be a Hispanic kid. They named the vegetable Fernando.
His family just moved here from another country. He talks funny. I mean, to be honest, I kind of respect him more for doing that. I actually like this episode a lot. I didn't remember the beginning, but then when I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing this and liking this a lot as a kid. It's like the two towns that are on top of the mountain, on opposite sides of this thing. And then, of course, come on. I mean, this is the episode with Where's My Hairbrush? An absolute banger of a silly song with Larry. Honestly, I feel like this is an S-tier heavenly episode of VeggieTales.
All right, Andrew, take it away with Beauty and the Beat.
Gosh, I actually forgot to watch this one, but I've got the IMDb.
The IMDb Beat.
Is Beauty and the Beat that one Justin Bieber song?
With Nicki Minaj.
Look at the drip on Larry in this episode.
He looks like Pitbull.
Mr. Worldwide.
What is the Christian propaganda for this one?
I feel like it's just the don't judge a book by its cover, love thy neighbor type shit that Are You My Neighbor already covered, probably would be my guess.
It's kind of basic for VeggieTales. I don't know. Yeah, I gotta go with baseless Christian propaganda.
Tomato Sawyer and Huckleberry Larry's Big Rever Rescue. Take it away.
There's definitely Cucumber Jim in this or some shit.
It's cucumber.
Shut up.
I'm sorry.
Why is Mr. Nezer always the slave owner? I feel like Belly of the Whales here is a good spot.
This is pre-Twitter. We'll give it a slide.
On a lighter note, what the hell is Celery Night Fever?
I was put off by the prospect of VeggieTales parodying Saturday Night Fever, so I skipped this one.
Look at the drip on Bob, though.
How much coke did those two do?
Scorsese, please remake.
You know what? We need to put something in broccoli, and that afro to me reads as broccoli.
I'm not going to retell the story of David and Goliath. Its main moral is it doesn't matter who you are or what you are. Everyone is capable of doing great things.
Yes, this is the opening with Larry Boy. Yes.
At some point, Big Idea did a like a stage type tour. I don't know if you guys remember those like previews for it.
I saw it in person.
Oh my god, so you were in the crowd for this?
Yeah, so they a lot of the vegetables would deflate and just come out as like flaccid sacks of nylon.
But I remember this episode fondly. I think it's also up there with Heavenly. All right, Andrew, are you ready to tell us about Duke and the Great Pie War?
Larry has to save the kingdom and win over Petunia's love by jousting Mr. Lunt.
Nice. What's the Bible message? What am I supposed to learn from this?
It's bros before hoes, Romans 12:10.
So it's a worse version of "Are you my neighbor?"
I just want to be clear, I was just paraphrasing the actual Bible verse. It's be devoted to one another in brotherly love, honor one another above yourselves, Romans 12:10. I feel like this one has the potential to be our first baseless Christian propaganda.
I would agree.
I'd probably agree.
All right, and God wants me to forgive them? After terrorizing some sentient trees, the grapes of wrath hit a bump in the road and meet Junior Asparagus and use an extremely offensive racial slur. Junior informs them he's an asparagus, and the grapes make fun of his afro puff. Mr. Asparagus then comes out and explains being mean makes God sad, so the grapes apologize. Junior Asparagus forgives the grapes for their racism, but the grapes make fun of his name next, and Junior gets pissed. The grapes apologize once more, and Junior is now pissed at Bob and Larry, the narrators, for forcing him to apologize yet again. Junior asks how many times you must forgive someone who grinds your gears, and Bob and Larry Google a Bible quote to placate the boy. Matthew 18:22. Jesus answered, I tell you, not 7 times, but 70 times 7. Junior is satisfied with the answer of 490 apologies, and after renaming the grapes of wrath to the grapes of math, they leave Junior quoting one statistic in particular that I refuse to repeat here.
It doesn't involve 13% of the population, does it?
I refuse to repeat it here. The next story begins as a Gilligan's Island parody before Larry begins daydreaming about being a communist. He then crashes the boat and strands the crew and the passengers on a deserted island, thus returning the short to its focus. Bob is pissed at Larry for crashing the ship, and Larry's inferiority complex causes him to run away. The passengers shoot Bob with a catapulted coconut and forgive him for destroying their house when falling out of a tree because he was struck with the coconut. They find Larry as he's in the middle of escaping the island on a raft, and after forgiving him, he joins them back on the island. One of the passengers builds a helicopter out of bamboo and coconuts, and they all escape together. This episode had no silly song with Larry, but I forgive it.
At the very least, Scorsese, please remake.
I agree, and I think that Scorsese would do the right thing and put a silly song in there when he remade it.
Andrew, you want to tell us about Esther, the girl who became queen?
This one's really good. It feels like a classic Disney movie for some reason. She does the right thing and gets Haman sent to the island of perpetual tickling.
Oh, God.
At the very least, it's broccoli and better than Celery Night Fever.
I think it could be at the top of broccoli.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
It's my turn with It's a Meaningful Life, which I think is a take in its own right. But instead of Stuart, played by Larry, wishing he was never born, he wishes that he caught the game-winning football. This is a story of settling for God's plan and preaches that free will doesn't exist and you must blindly obey your creator. This one's pretty baseless Christian propaganda, in my opinion. I think trivializing the original It's a Wonderful Life, which is a film with dark themes, but is honestly appropriate for the whole family and is one I always watched around Christmas time as a kid, into this trite little VeggieTales episode, kind of like narcissistic. I don't know. This doesn't really add anything to that story.
I keep seeing a quote everywhere, and I'm not sure where it's from, and it really seems like it's from here. Does he by chance say that means you haven't known the triumphs and defeats, the epic highs and lows of high school football?
That's from Riverdale.
Riverdale would also rank under baseless propaganda.
Andrew, are you ready to tell us about Gideon Tuba Warrior?
Can a few good veggies stand against an army of thousands? Can a nation be defended by horns and flashlights? Find out in a hilarious new adventure from VeggieTales. Gideon Tuba Warrior. As a reluctant tuba-playing warrior takes on an army of excessively hairy pickles.
Whoa.
This sounds like the definition of baseless Christian propaganda to me.
Like, it's not as bad as Huckleberry Finn and whatnot. Like, I'd probably put it above that. Like, it's got some redeeming qualities. It's just so boring.
Jonah, a VeggieTales movie, is Cuba's Kino. Telling one of the most well-known Bible stories into a feature film was a bold and impressive move by Big Idea. I think Jonah is like a top-tier film on this, but Big Idea lost a lot of money after this movie came out.
This was such a huge life event involving Jonah video game. This game was so fucking hard. This was like my meltdown moment. I threw my mom's mouse at the computer screen and broke her computer. And this like snowballed into a series of events that led to me getting diagnosed with ADHD.
Whoa.
So thanks a lot, the Jonah game for PC.
You want to tell us about Larry Boy and the Fib from Outer Space? I think you do.
In his first appearance, Larry Boy does battle with an alien that is born from lies told by Junior Asparagus. The Fib is defeated and everyone learns a valuable lesson. The Bible verse in this one is John 8:32. The truth will set you free.
Zack Snyder, please remake.
Yes.
I think it goes without saying that Larry Boy and the Fib from Outer Space is heavenly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Josh and the Big Wall was maybe the first ever VeggieTales episode I ever watched. The episode has a twist where Junior was the co-host with Bob, building up Larry's Academy Award-like performance as Joshua, wiping out the wall of Jericho like it's Tomato Town. This episode, I think, is one of the funniest episodes.
How are we clapping? I have no idea. This time, I really mean it. We should go back to Egypt. Huh? Don't you remember? Snorkeling in the Nile, 3 square meals a day, plenty of exercise. Oh, it was paradise. We were in slavery. Nothing is perfect.
I think this is a top tier episode, if not like one of the best. I think it's like top 3.
Alden's turn with King George and the Ducky?
Oh, yeah.
Alden, I hope you looked up the original Bible story for this.
It's fucked up.
Did I give Alden all the problematic ones? Maybe.
Long story short, there's a war. The king doesn't care about the war. He would rather be like play in the bath with this rubber ducky.
Is that a metaphor for something?
I feel like just subject matter alone, I need this in Scorsese, please remake.
All right. Who has Larry Boy and the Bad Apple?
This episode has a fucking PlayStation 2 game. Review coming soon on our channel, by the way. Subscribe to youtube.com/the M2J2 Larry Boy takes on an evil female apple with a sexy voice. The lesson here is to moderate the things you enjoy and that giving into temptations can have additional consequences.
How do we feel about top tier broccoli?
That's where I would go with this.
Josh, you want to tell us about Lord of the Beans?
Yeah, by the sound of it, it just sounds like VeggieTales.
Lord of the Rings parody.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a message on it or if it was one of their non-religious ones. I say lay off the rumor weed.
Larry Boy and the Rumor Weed. What's this one about?
The mayor calls Larry Boy, the rumors growing out of control, and he attempts to destroy the weed in any way he can while it sings about rumors. Proverbs 12:18. Reckless words pierce like a sword, but the tongue of the wise brings healing.
Pretty based lesson.
But if you saw this episode, you know that the tier lay off the rumor weed is right on the money.
This is the best Larry Boy one.
Do you think the other 2 Larry Boys are better than this one? Because this one is like the best.
I'm fine with this being heavenly, though. Yeah, I think we've got one about Lyle the Viking King.
Oh shit, I think that's me.
God, there's so many of these fucking episodes.
Attempt to retell the classic story of Hamlet, but they couldn't find Hamlet anywhere, so they decided to substitute with a near similar story entitled Omelette.
Omelet. So this is as good as The Lion King, right?
I have no idea what they're going for here in terms of message.
It might be a lay off the rumor weed.
I have McLary. You don't have to include this, but I don't say the title of this because I'm going to school for theater.
I respect your religion.
I'm going to be honest. I wasn't paying attention at the beginning of this one, and by the end, I was completely zoned out. This fucking sucked, dude.
I think it's going right here with Lyle, if I'm being honest. Josh, what is Madame Blueberry about?
Oh, fuck this bitch. All right.
This is another like European caricature in VeggieTales. They hate the Europeans.
Good.
But this episode did bring us the allow us to introduce ourselves meme.
Allow us to introduce ourselves.
I like this. This is probably top tier broccoli.
It is a good episode.
What is Mary Larry in the true light of Christmas about?
Personally, for me, if it's going to be a VeggieTales Christmas special, it's got to be the one with Buzzsaw Louie, or else I don't care. Yeah, I don't know why they felt the need to keep doing Christmas specials when they kind of like had it right already. I feel like it could potentially be in baseless Christian propaganda.
We've got Minnesota Cuke and the search for Samson's hairbrush. We then get arguably the best silly song with Larry that none of you are ready to talk about. It is Pizza Angel. Back half of the episode is a parody of Raiders of the Lost Ark starring Larry as Indiana Jones, and he goes on a globe-trotting adventure trying to recover Samson's hairbrush. It's probably one of my favorite episodes personally. I think it's a little on the underrated side in the grand scheme of VeggieTales.
It makes up with it with Pizza Angel.
It can be bottom of Heavenly, and I'll sleep well tonight. What's Mo and Brexit about?
All right, Mo and the Big Exit. If the title didn't already tip you off, this is the part where you realize the story is going to be Exodus with cowboys, which sounds cool until you think of it for more than a second. Extremely problematic. It's anti-Semitic. It's racist against black people. It completely ignores the actual issue of African slavery in the United States at this time. And it gets even worse when Larry joins the army.
Yeah, we're putting this at the bottom of baseless Christian propaganda and moving right along to Minnesota Cuke in the search for Noah's umbrella. No, this one's pretty good. It's not as good as the first Minnesota Cuke in terms of the theming and the narrative, but it's way more fun and has way more set pieces and is way more an Indiana Jones parody. I think that this is probably low tier broccoli, maybe high belly of the whale, personally.
I'm feeling belly of the whale on this one.
Let's talk about Pistachio, the boy who wouldn't.
This title's fucking stupid.
This episode's stupid. It doesn't need to exist because we already have a good Pinocchio story in Larry Boy and the Fib from Outer Space.
Is this even more baseless Christian propaganda that I have? I've had 3 of these.
All right, Chope, you want to tell us about Princess and the Pop Star?
No, it's very generic. It's not very good.
We've got Noah's Ark. This uses the gross redesigns of the Netflix reboot, The VeggieTales Show. About half the voice cast, as well as the animation style, are completely changed here. You'll never guess what the moral of this episode is. That's right, blindly obey your creator again. I have a big problem with this one. Alden, you've got Rack Shack and Benny, right?
I think this episode is the reason why I really appreciated Sorry to Bother You when I saw it in college.
It's got great music in this episode, and that's all I can remember from the actual episode rather than the plot.
And at the end, they get locked inside a fucking furnace and burn alive.
I'm going to say it. The anti-capitalist themes and dark imagery, it sounds like a Scorsese Please remake. Robin Hood and His Not So Merry Men. How do you turn a fable about vigilante justice in a corrupt society that favors overtaxation of the lower class to then overstimulate an already looming and all-powerful aristocratic monarch into a parable about the strength and power of having faith in God? Easy. You make sure Robin Hood and His Not So Merry Men are completely fucking incompetent. So once again, blind belief in God will make everything better, and you don't have to take any action if your government is oppressing you. This is baseless Christian propaganda.
St. Nicholas, the Joy of Giving. This one was pretty fucking lame, and it was straightforward. Bob tells the story of the real St. Nicholas with like no theming or anything, so it's just like vegetables in the Middle East.
Isn't that half the early episodes, though? How about lay off the rumor weed, because they're talking about that Santa Claus isn't real. They're obviously high.
All right, Alden. What is Sherlock Holmes and the Golden Ruler about, and what are they measuring with the Golden Ruler?
It's a retelling of Don Quixote.
Hey, Alden, why is there a mark at the 3-inch part of the Golden Ruler?
For John 3:16?
For John 3 and 1/16 inch.
So, Belly of the Whale? Up next, Sumo of the Opera. What is this one about, Josh?
It turns into New Japan Pro Wrestling when our boy Larry wants to wrestle Apollo to win a bike. They both fall out of the ring at the same time, like the first act of Disney Pixar's Cars. It's more intense than the most recent boxing movie I watched, Creed 2.
Probably lay off the rumor weed.
No, I really like the sumo episode, actually. I think
Scorsese directing a sumo movie? Come on.
Wait, so this is going to be Silence meets Raging Bull? This might be my number one Scorsese movie if he remakes Sumo of the Opera. Mikhail, what the fuck is Sweet Pea Beauty, a girl after God's own heart?
So Sweet Pea Beauty, who I guess is supposed to be the most beautiful member of the family, is exiled into the forest. Didn't watch this one until the end, and the Big Idea animation wiki and the VeggieTales wiki are both blank. I think there are worse ones in terms of problematic content, but this is just substanceless.
This sounds like Princess and the Pop Star tier. The Ballad of Little Joe.
I like this one.
Yeah, this one's really, really good.
Larry portrays Joe, who's disliked by his brothers because God gave him special organizational abilities.
So he's an accountant.
Yeah, I guess.
Is Ben Affleck in The Accountant?
Yeah, his siblings resent him for it because they all received mittens for their birthday, which great joke by the VeggieTales writing. Little Joe tells his brothers that he had 12 cacti, which 11 are representing his siblings, are all bowing to a larger 12th cactus. So this pisses off his brothers even more that they push him down a mine shaft. He then gets kidnapped, bound, and gagged by a pair of bandits. Flash forward 1 year later, I don't really understand what happens, but he's now the manager of a pizza place. Despite, as Ken Rosenberg would say, having shit shoveled in his face, Little Joe keeps faith throughout this time. Little Joe is released from prison and regains the trust of the townspeople by revealing he's able to interpret dreams like some kind of cucumber Nelson Mandela. He is now put in charge of the food distribution in the town, despite having recently been released from jail.
I'm not gonna lie, that was just as confusing and hard to follow as a real Bible story, so this might be the most accurate adaptation.
I'd say Broccoli. This one's really good.
Yeah, fuck it. Top of Broccoli.
The end of silliness? So Archibald Asparagus has canceled Silly Songs with Larry. So Larry the Cucumber drowns his sorrows at Jimmy Gord's ice cream parlor, which looks just like Edward Hopper's painting Nighthawks. It's a Silly Songs with Larry compilation episode. It's not very good, but it's pretty funny. It's memorable. I would say that this is Broccoli, probably mid-tier. Oh yeah, here it is. The League of Incredible Vegetables or whatever.
Holy shit. Larry Boy Adventures.
Is this the Snyder Cut?
Bob and Larry get a video call from Alfred that a kid named Sean emailed Larry Boy that he's pretty much afraid of everything and needs help to conquer his fears.
So this is some pussy-ass kid.
Who video called in 2012.
Who video called a vegetable.
How old was the kid?
I have no idea. It doesn't say.
I hope he's like 15.
This sounds like the definition of we have Larry Boy at home. Feeling Belly of the Whale here, maybe a little bit below Gideon.
Yeah.
Josh, you want to tell us about the VeggieTales remake of the Rankin and Bass Little Drummer Boy?
A lonely child finds the true meaning of Christmas when he stumbles upon the birth of baby Jesus. This is better than the Rankin Bass.
I agree.
Yeah, so this is Broccoli?
Yeah.
Cool. Andrew, what is the Little House That Stood about?
Basically, the story of the Three Little Pigs. The moral of the story is to have a good foundation. If you don't have a good foundation, your house is going to fall down.
This the real one, baby.
Very apparent that this one is for kids. Young kids. Half of the episode has like Humpty Dumpty and
Oh, okay. This is baseless Christian propaganda. Mikhail, what is the Penniless Princess about? And is it as distasteful as Robin Hood on its views of classism?
So she's someone who has tremendous self-worth because she has all these clothes and like material stuff. And then her family falls on hard times, and obviously that makes her life so much harder. You could find more tasteful ways to do this than like exploiting poor people. I feel like this was like, oh yeah, you're not as like in good of a spot life-wise, and you got to make the best of it if you're poor.
And this came out after the housing crisis of 2008?
You turn it on, it's making fun of your fucking parents. Like,
sorry your Gen Xer dad got laid off from his corporate job. Parents fell for a subprime mortgage. Loser.
I think this is a lay off the room weed.
That's pretty generous, but yeah, I agree. Josh, tell us about the 5th Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Or no, this would have been the 4th Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
This movie was bittersweet because it almost felt like the end of an era for Big Idea. Sadly, with a $15 million budget, the film only grossed $13 million. It was another feature film failure from Big Idea.
There's no Bible stuff in this at all.
I think this movie should get like a Broccoli tier.
All right, who wants to talk about the toy you saved Christmas instead?
In this Christmas tale, it's a story about a toy coming to life and learning the true meaning of Christmas. I will say, though, this is better than Toy Story 4. I like this. I think out of all the Christmas ones, it's the best one.
I remember this one very fondly watching it with my grandma.
I kind of want this in Heavenly.
Jory, you want to tell us about the other Christmas special, The Star of Christmas?
These guys sound like dicks. I am not a fan.
This has a very non-VeggieTale, like sad church song at the end of it also.
I think it should be like a mid-tier Belly of the Whale.
The ultimate silly song with Larry compilation.
This is a banger. This has so many classic songs. Personally, because of how many classics are on this, I would put it either in Heavenly or top of Broccoli.
I think I would rather rewatch this than I would The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything or Madame Blueberry. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. What is this one about?
And obviously it's a parody of The Wizard of Oz. The stand-in for the Emerald City is an amusement park run by the wizard, who's played by Archibald, that Junior is convinced is some kind of like utopia of childhood fun. Junior has a lot of fun, but he is sucked dry of all the money he had with him. He starts feeling regret because they're really laying it on thick with this. The money was supposed to be used for his college fund. I completely left out the part where Pa Grape, Mr. Lunt, and I want to say Larry are the Tin Man, Lion, and Scarecrow.
This feels like big lay off the weed.
The Wonderful World of Autotainment, the meta one that accurately predicted the rise in meme culture on the internet. It starts with Larry refusing to do the intro and showing Bob the future of entertainment through randomly generated jokes cued by robots. I think that this might be the best written episode of VeggieTales, period. It's really fucking weird. It is honestly like still funny.
I'm gonna say it. This episode's mad underrated, and I think we should elevate it and put it high in Heavenly.
Alden, tell us about Veggies in Paris.
I guess another Star Trek ripoff. It's not good.
It's gotta lay off the rumor weed.
'Twas the night before Easter. They then sacrifice a giant robotic bunny and turn him into a swing set in the cross pose at this playground at the church. It's very creepy.
Bruh.
Bro. This isn't okay. This is an Easter special.
At the top of lay off the rumor weed.
Not as based as Lord of the Beans. All right, very silly songs. Like the third episode, that was a compilation of the first 3 silly songs with Larry.
Throw him to the belly of the whale.
Where's God when I'm scared? The very first VeggieTales, and just 10 minutes short of being the first CG animated feature film, according to the AFI. The first story in this episode is all about Junior Asparagus watching a scary movie about frankencelery. He goes to bed afraid and is comforted by 2 strangers who break into the small child's room and introduce him to a Hollywood actor. Junior Asparagus asks if God is bigger than King Kong, and then they sing a song about God being bigger than Godzilla. No, I'm not making that up. The story of Daniel and the Lion's Den manages to deliver a certified banger in the midst of a conspiracy to kidnap a child, seal him in a pitch-black pit, and leave him with bloodthirsty, snarling lions with nothing but their glowing yellow eyes for night.
We need to talk about how in the David episode, it is straight up a Kubrick mini-film.
Bro, like everything about that sequence unsettles me to my very core. The narration in the beginning, how it's like an ASMR thing, the landscape with like the desert at night and the like deep blues.
The scene where they kidnap David?
The scene where they're talking about kidnapping David. That giant hall with like the checkered flooring. Like I'm serious. You could put like the cult chant from Eyes Wide Shut over that and it would have the same vibe.
It's nightmare fuel.
It was terrifying to me as a child, and it's still kind of unsettling as an adult because of how much I associate with it. This really set the tone for the entire series, and all of the good episodes I compared to this one. Personally, I want it as high up in Heavenly as above Jonah.
I agree. I think the only episode that might be better than this is Josh and the Big Wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew. You can find him over on YouTube. Zisserl is the name of that YouTube channel. It's got more subs than us and M2J2 combined right now. So thank you for blessing us with your presence.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Also, check out Mikhail. He's the co-creative director of the M2J2 project.
And I think we're gonna have you guys on soon. Well, we'll work it out. We're working out finer details. We'll talk business.
We'll talk business during Monkey Week.